Johnny Talk Sports here with my Week 4 college football predictions. Now, last week it was a really ugly week. I went 5-5, 50% for the week, but I'm still at 70% overall. That's kind of the goal I had. But I just got to keep it going. Just got to take those losses, put it behind me, and just focus on Week 4. There's 10 more good games to predict. But I found 12 games I thought would be interesting to talk about this week. So I just put down 2 bonus picks. These won't count for me or against me unless you want these to go against my record. But I think this is only going to be for this week because there were so many good games that I saw. So let's just do these 2 bonus picks to get them out of the way. Number 20, Florida versus Kentucky. Florida coming off a game-winning Hail Mary pass to beat Tennessee. Kentucky coming off a huge road win against South Carolina. Kentucky is having a great start to the season. And they're hosting the Florida Gators. Now, the way I see this matchup going along, I could see this being easily a low-scoring game. I could see Florida's defense winning this game for them single-handedly. I could also see maybe Kentucky pulling off the upset a bit. But in the end, though, I think Florida's going to win this game. I just feel like the defense is going to be too strong at the end. Because Florida's defense has been responsible for the majority of their points this year, believe it or not. 2 pick sixes against Michigan in Week 1. A pick 6 against Tennessee. The defense had 3 pick sixes. And that defense, that secondary, they can force Kentucky to make some mistakes. They can try to get those interceptions going. Because Florida just feasts off of interceptions. UCLA and Stanford. Now both these teams have come off heartbreaking losses from the week before. UCLA a heartbreaking loss to Memphis. Stanford a heartbreaking loss to San Diego State. Now the question for that one is which team is going to respond the best? In my opinion, I think that team's going to be Stanford. Because Stanford's 2 losses have been on the road. I think being back at home, being in front of their home crowd, I think they're going to feed off the energy. I think Stanford's going to win a high-scoring game. If they can force Josh Rosen to make some mistakes, like he did last week against Memphis, I think it might be a long night for Josh Rosen. But I think Stanford will get this one. I think it's going to be close. To be honest, the UCLA-Stanford game could go either way. But at this point, I am picking Stanford to get the W. So now that the bonus picks are out of the way, let's get to the 10 real picks that I had. Starting with North Carolina State versus number 12 Florida State. Now, Florida State has not played a down of college football this year ever since the Week 1 24-7 defeat against Alabama. And Florida State's quarterback, DeAndre Francois, is out for the season, so now it turns to the freshman quarterback. And he hasn't gotten a lot of reps. And I think NC State's defense is going to take advantage of that. I think if they force him to win the game, I think NC State will pull off this upset. And I like NC State to actually pull off this upset. I think that NC State is going to surprise everybody in this game. I just feel like Florida State's defense can't single-handedly win this game. In fact, when I saw Florida State's schedule after the Alabama game, when it was announced that DeAndre Francois was out for the year, I saw this game as one of the games that the defense would probably have to win. I don't think they could. Considering they have to play teams like NC State this week, Miami, they got to play Clemson, Louisville, Florida. I can't see their defense winning all 5 of those games on their own. And I think this is a game the defense can't win on their own either. I think NC State will get this victory because NC State has come close to pulling off upsets against top teams in recent years. So I'm liking NC State in this matchup. Texas A&M and Arkansas. Now you could say that this game, the head coaching jobs are on the line. Kevin Sumlin's on the hot seat for Texas A&M and Brett Bielema is on the hot seat for Arkansas. In fact, maybe the winner of this game, the coach keeps their job at least till the end of the year. I got a suspicion, and I will be shocked that the team that loses this game, their head coach doesn't get the Les Miles treatment. I will be shocked if that doesn't happen. And I know I faced a lot of criticism week 1 by people on social media. How can you call yourself a Texas A&M fan when you're going to pick against them? Well, because this is my YouTube channel and this is kind of a business for me. And guess what? I'm going to pick against them again. I am picking the Arkansas Razorbacks to win this matchup over the Texana Aggies, and I'm not afraid to say it. If you don't like me picking against my own team, then don't watch my channel. Number 1, Alabama versus Vanderbilt. This is the next matchup I'm talking about. Now, the thing that sucks about this matchup is Vanderbilt has just started to gain respect of college football. In fact, I believe there was a comment in the comment section that Kansas State in the Vanderbilt matchup last week was the most intriguing to that person. Because that person said the winner of that game was going to gain respect of college football fans. And Vanderbilt beat Kansas State 14-7 last week in a low-scoring game. I apologize, I cannot remember who this person was. But if I remember it, I will shout them out in next week's video for the Week 5 picks. I am sorry I cannot remember right now. But the thing that sucks about it is Vanderbilt was just starting to gain that respect that this person was talking about. And right when they're gaining the respect, they have to host number 1 Alabama. But how are you going to gain even more respect in college football? By beating Alabama. Can they do it? Well, any given Saturday. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But there's a tiny shot that Vanderbilt could get this win. Maybe try scoring early. Take an early 7-0 lead. Get your crowd into the game. Especially if Alabama comes out slow. Because Alabama doesn't come out as the fastest team in college football at times. Get an early defensive stop. Maybe try to get your crowd into it. The crowd could be a factor in this game. But in the end, I think the Tide are going to roll in the second half. Because they're going to hand the ball off to Bo Scarborough. They're going to let Bo run. They're going to let him go. They're going to give it to Bo. They're going to give it to Bo some more. They're just going to let him go. Alabama wins 41-13. Number 5, USC versus California. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up this matchup is USC had a scarce against Texas last week. In fact, Sam Darnold had to lead a 45-second drive just to send the game into overtime. So they faced a 2-overtime victory against Texas. That was a scare. In fact, they almost lost in regulation. And California is coming off a big win against Ole Miss. But I'm going to pick USC in this matchup. But if USC plays the way they did against Texas last week, I don't think they're going to win this game. But I think they're going to come out different. I think Sam Darnold's going to learn from his mistakes eventually. But I got a feeling, I got a suspicion, that there's going to be a game down the road that USC is going to lose that they're a favorite in. In fact, I think they're going to be a favorite in all their games, at least till the Pac-12 championship game. Maybe they'll even be a favorite in that too. But I will guarantee one thing. USC will not win the national championship. In fact, I think USC is going to lose a game at some point in the regular season. Maybe it could be this one, surprisingly. Maybe we'll get shocked and California will win this matchup. But I don't think they will. I think USC is going to win this matchup. Maybe they might lose to Washington State next week on the road. Who knows? They could lose in the Pac-12 championship game to Washington or something. They could lose to UCLA. They could lose to Notre Dame. Just saying. Moving on, number 8, Michigan versus Purdue. Now, Michigan has lost their top receiver, Tariq Black, possibly for the year, as he got foot surgery today. And Purdue, they challenged Louisville in Week 1. They pulled off a huge win against an SEC opponent last week. I know it was Missouri, but still, those reps might be a huge difference. Maybe a win like that could get confidence for your team. But I think Michigan's going to win this game. Maybe not necessarily in dominating fashion, but they'll do a good enough fashion to win the game. I think Michigan picks up a 17-point victory, 34-17. I think Purdue gets some points on the board, but it won't be enough. Number 17, Mississippi State versus number 11, Georgia. Now, this could be the second best game of the week, only behind TCU and Oklahoma State, which we're going to talk about at the end. Mississippi State is coming off a huge victory against LSU. In fact, they just made LSU look like a JV team out there. I mean, I was shocked at the very least. LSU doesn't have the best quarterback play, but I thought they're going to be able to pull it off. But then, Mississippi State is kind of unstoppable in their home stadium with the cowbells and everything. But Mississippi State is a different team on the road than they are at home. And I think that's been the difference in this game. I think Georgia's going to get the victory. I could see this being a high-scoring affair, being close from start to finish. I think Georgia wins a high score, 45-38. Number 22, San Diego State versus Air Force. San Diego State coming off a huge upset against Stanford last week. And Air Force, they could face a challenge with their triple option. But I'm liking San Diego State's running game at this point. However, if Air Force won this game, I wouldn't be surprised at the very least. Because a lot of teams have a hard time stopping that triple option. Even Michigan struggled with it. Navy upset Houston a few years ago, back when they were number 6 in the country. So anything is possible. In fact, that actually was this last year, I believe, when Navy upset Houston with the triple option. So teams have a difficult time stopping the triple option. We saw Tennessee have a hard time stopping that triple option against Georgia Tech. So the triple option could be trouble for San Diego State, but I think they'll get it done. However, if Air Force won, I wouldn't be, at the very least, shocked. Number 4, Penn State versus Iowa. Now this is another kind of game as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an upset here. Iowa's a really dangerous team at home. It's more of a hostile environment than you think. But Penn State has, in my opinion, the best offense in college football, and I believe they also have the best player in college football in Saquon Barkley, who is going to be the first running back taken in next year's NFL draft. No questions asked. But Iowa's a much dangerous team at home. In fact, if this was November, I would pick Iowa to win straight up. But since this is an early game in September, I just can't go against Penn State's lethal offense. I think that's be a huge difference in the game. But if Iowa won, though, I wouldn't be shocked at the very least. But if Iowa can get their crowd into the game early, it could face some problems for Penn State. But like I said, I think Penn State has the best offense in college football and the best player in college football in Saquon Barkley. Next matchup, Notre Dame and Michigan State. Now, both these teams did not have good years last year. In fact, neither of these teams had a winning season. Notre Dame's already lost to Georgia this year, but they can still have potential for a good season. And Michigan State, they're off to a good start this year. They haven't faced any tough competition. This will be their first real game of the year. But I think with Michigan State being at home, I think there's going to be a huge difference in the game. I'm thinking that home field advantage for Michigan State is going to do wonders. Because Notre Dame's QB hasn't faced a real hostile environment yet, especially in a Big Ten type environment. Because the Big Ten environments are really hostile. And finally, the game of the week, number 16 TCU versus number 6 Oklahoma State. This is going to be an exciting game. There's going to be a lot of points on the board. But here's where I see this game being won. I see this game being won by which defense could step up to the occasion. TCU's defense has stepped up against Arkansas by only allowing 7 points. Oklahoma State, we haven't seen a lot out of Oklahoma State's defense so far this year. At least in my opinion. Because the Big 12 is not known as a conference for defense. But honestly, there's an old expression. It's a classic expression. Offenses win you games, defenses wins you championships. And this isn't a championship game. This is a regular season game. And I think that's going to apply to this matchup. I'm picking Oklahoma State to win this game. I think we're going to see a high-scoring game. I just can't go against Mason Rudolph, who's a Heisman hopeful. A lot of people can argue that a lot of people think Oklahoma State has the best offense in college football. But I think Penn State has the best offense in college football. Sorry, Mason Tinkler. But I am going to pick the Cowboys. I hope you are happy with that. So those are my picks for the week. I'm hoping I do better this week. That is all I have. Like and subscribe to the channel. We are very close to 1,000 subscribers. I believe we're at 940 at this moment. So just 60 more for 1,000. Anyway, share this with your friends and family. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day, everybody.